lovely wishes. It's Holly. Welcome to Dandelion Stitches. Welcome, welcome. I'm so grateful that you chose me. If you could comment, like, ring the bell, share, all the things, I would be so very grateful. Today we are going to continue on with the Q&As. I'm going to go ahead and set my watch for 15 minutes. And we will carry on. So, next question. What made you decide to do a YouTube channel? I have a complicated medical history, and I was also wondering how you continue to work through your challenges and still provide amazing content for your channel. Laura. Oh, thanks, Laura. First of all, starting a YouTube channel, a small quilt shop in the area before the pandemic opened, and she was doing some boxes, and she'd asked if I would maybe do some openings for her, and I did, and I figured it all out, how I could do it. And then she opened right before COVID, and she couldn't. Eventually she had to close. So, it was pandemic time, and I didn't really have anything going on, and aside from sewing 9 gazillion masks. So I decided, well, you know what? Let's just give it a try. And in all honesty, I was not at that point, it was kind of like, let's learn together sort of thing, because I'm still not. But anyway, that's how I got started, and I kind of figured at some point I just sort of go, there wouldn't be interest. And so I would just let it go. There was interest. So, and I'm so grateful. Yeah, the complicated medical history. I hear you. I see you. Huge hugs. It's been hard, for me to try to strike that balance. One thing I do, and it sounds like I'm 100, but it's important, is that every day after lunch I lay down, every day, and I treat it like it's sacred. Like if I need to make an appointment or a meeting time or whatever, I do early morning or late afternoon. That rest time is like my very important time. When you have, any kind of really just any kind of a disease, gravity is not your friend. And for me, with my herniated neck issues and the exhaustion that comes from the Parkinson's, they call it fatigue. That fatigue feels a lot more like exhaustion. But just taking that time where I lay down, I get out of gravity. I most of the time I read, but other than that, I sleep sometimes. It's whatever your body needs at that time. I also have a filming schedule. I try to film early in the morning and then be able to get it edited before noon, so that if my worst time of the day is 5-ish, so if I'm not doing so good at that time, I can lay down again. You just got to listen to your body. I've found that making the rest time an absolute necessity, like a must, it's really helped my body to, it expects it, and it really helps. It seems like a kind of a ridiculous thing. I'm going to go take a nap now, but it really helps me a lot. So if I had any other great suggestions for you, I would for sure share them. But there are days when I don't do anything at all. I think that having the channel has helped me have something to look forward to, but sometimes you just gotta say okay and surrender. Cheryl, oh boy, this is hard. My question is, if you had to temporarily move and you had to pick one subscription box and one pattern with the most treasured fabric, what would you choose? Besides your sewing machine, what tools would be your must as well? Oh, well, that's just super easy. Oh my goodness. Well, the subscription box would be Open Gate. They are my ride and die. There have been other subscription boxes lately that have been pretty good, but I'm pretty loyal. I don't have a pattern that is a favorite. I would say my most treasured fabric would be my Tilda. Tools. A seam ripper. I use that a lot. The rotary cutter. Best press. I think that's good. We joke a lot that if the house was burning down, the first thing I would get rid of is the first thing I would carry out is the card catalog, because replacing that thing would be near to impossible. So, plus I just love it. So, next question from Jenny. Question, how old are you and what does your husband do for a living? You said personal was okay, so I went for it. Good job, Jenny. You're more than welcome to do so. I am 66. I will be 67 in December. What does my husband do for a living? It's kind of, I'm not real sure, to be perfectly honest. I know it has to do with databases in the medical field. He works for Takeda, which is big pharma, which I know lots of people really hate big pharma, but it pays our bills. Yeah, he's just real smart, and he just, I don't know. Every now and then he'll talk to me about it, and I'll glaze over. It's okay. Joanne, how did you get started with quilting? And then what prompted you to start the channel? My sister was a quilter, but my sister is a quilter. Although the way she chooses to quilt is so very different than what I do. Her fabric choices, her everything, were just not the same, which makes it really good because there's no competition at all. Plus she knows she's way better than I am. That same little store that I spoke about earlier, she did I'm trying to think why she did it. She did a little quilt. It wasn't a competition, and I believe it had a heart in it. Anyway, she wanted to have them all to put on the window of the shop, and she handed me the pattern and said, "Do it. You can do it." Well, at that point, I didn't even know. I mean, when it said WOF, in my head it was Worf from Star Trek. I didn't know anything. I just decided, okay, well, let's start with one and make our way down. And it went pretty well. And I thought, well, okay, I can do this. I have always been color, and walking into that shop and seeing all that color and all of the different, I remember the first day I went there, she had gotten a new shipment of Marcia Durst solids, and they were the saturation and I was seduced by the color, and that was okay. What can I create using this? So I knew how to sew. I just didn't know how to quilt. But you know, you got to take a chance sometimes. What brings you joy, Felicia? Oh, so many things. I'm so many things. Tom, obviously. When my phone rings, or the text message pops up, and it's my granddaughter. I love that. I'm so grateful for technology in that way, because they can communicate with you so easily. You know, the thought of holding baby River the first time, being in Minnesota and listening to the waves and the gulls and the loons and all those things. There isn't a single thing outside that doesn't bring me joy. I think this was something that my mother did for me, and I can't really like pinpoint the moment or the time, but she showed me joy. She showed me that no matter what you're doing or where you are, you can find beauty and joy. And I frequently say, find your joy, especially to Cambria, you know, when she's struggling with, I don't know what to do, I don't know, look for the joy. So that was a good question. When do the various boxes open their Christmas box? I'm assuming that means open it for registration. How has and who hasn't opened up their Christmas? Oh, okay. Have you decided which boxes you will open this year? Will the elf be back? Yes, the elf will be back. I have already started payments on soft squares, and I think Missouri Star. I will definitely get, if she does it again, Ginger Quilter. Open Gate. I can't think of who. What else? Most places don't open for registration until fall, but because they are pricey boxes, more and more of them are being wise and giving you an opportunity to pay for it, you know, over the months. So, but aside from Missouri Star, I'm trying to think if Open Gate did do that. I don't think so. And soft squares. That's all I know. I know that, and I know the elf. The elf is awesome. Do you have a favorite quilt pattern, and if so, which one? I would have to say that log cabin. I love log cabin. I love how you can just change it up, and the way you put the blocks in it. The last log cabin I did, I used foundation paper piecing, and that was awesome. That was fun. If you could only have one quilting box for your personal projects for the rest of 2024, which would it be? For my personal projects. Open Gate. What advice would you give someone who is deciding whether to purchase a subscription box versus use the money to purchase items as needed for particular projects they are working on? That's a tough one. You have to decide if the surprise of the mystery box is worth the not knowing. I love a surprise. I really love a surprise. I would say that you need to set like your own criteria. I think I'm going to do a video on this, on what you need to look for a box that suits you. You know, you need to have your price point set. Like, what is your max? Because it's gonna, you know, they're getting more and more expensive, and I understand why. Fabric, crying out loud, that's really getting expensive. Oop, 15 minutes. I talk way too much. It's kind of funny because I'm really not a talker. I'm going to tell you to keep an eye out for that video. I'm going to try and do a what you need to think about. What was the most surprising thing about your YouTube channel journey? You guys, totally surprised that I got more than like 10 subscribers. That was amazing. Plus, the general, just profound kindness of you guys. If I say this person has got an issue and it needs prayer, I know you're praying. I know you're out there I know you are. It's a community that started with quilting and has progressed to being supportive and loving, and I had really no expectations, and you guys have just blown him out of the water. I can't say it often enough. You're just too wonderful. So that was, I think I'm going to go ahead and throw another 15 minutes on. So this one is going to be pretty long, but maybe I'll be able to get through all the rest of the questions, and then you won't have to watch me do this again. So, okay, time for a drink. This is from Pat. How did you decide to do a YouTube program? We kind of went over that. What is your favorite blog to do? We kind of went over that. Have you started your brown bag mystery? Will you do a video so that we can see your progress in it? What block of the month are you doing this year? The brown bag mystery, there was a video about that on Monday, and yeah, have I started it? No, but boy, I can't wait to do it. Cannot wait. I am not doing any blocks of the month this year. I have not finished the blocks of the month that I have already committed to. And I got a quilt kit from So Yeah. That show is just dangerous. I need to start working on that. So that is no to the blocks of the month. This is from Christine. Wait, back it up. Laura, what quilt or quilts are on your bucket list? What are your favorite online quilt shops? Anything, oh shoot, what's her name? Jen Kingwell. Anything I have her recipe book, and her quilts that would be on my bucket list. I have started to do a video of my favorite shopping places. So keep an eye out for that. Next question is from Christine. What is your favorite quilt you have made, and what is your most challenging quilt? My favorite quilt is this one. It's on my lap right now. I know it is super simple. It's just blocks sewn together. It is Marcia Durst blocks, and Marcia Durst has a sister, and her sister is a color artist, and she has taken some of Marcia's fabrics and dyed them, and I found her just randomly on Etsy. And so I got some of her blocks to throw in this. It is backed in Minky, and it is not very big. I'm going to say it's probably like maybe like quilt size. Crib size, like baby size. But it's just enough to throw over your lap. I take it in the car when we go to Minnesota. It's my warm fuzzy. The most challenging. I got the bright idea last year that I was going to do a mystery quilt along with Primitive Gatherings. And her first two mystery clues were 2-inch half square triangles. And I did most of them. But by the end of that, I wanted to choose violence. I quit. I just can't. No. It would have been incredible, I'm sure, but no bueno. What's your favorite color? How do you decide the fabric you want to use for a quilt pattern? We already talked about how I choose color fabrics. My favorite color is different every day. I gotta say, and that is the absolute truth. The color in this room, I adore this color. I like blue. I like green, and it's all about, for me, it's all about the saturation. It's like it's intense color. I'm sorry, that's a cop out, but I don't have a favorite color. I have a few I don't like. Anything that's pastel. Do you have a YouTube video for a beach tote with pockets inside and outside and on the sides? Oh, Ava. No, I don't. If you would want to send me a picture of kind of what you're thinking of with pockets inside and outside and on the sides, like on the front and the back, send me an email and elaborate, and I will see what I can come up with, because I really like designing bags. Are you familiar with the Dance Parkinson's program? It's available daily through Zoom. It's a chair-based experience program geared to individuals with Parkinson's, but helpful to anyone over 50. Colleen. I am Colleen, and it is, you're right, it's amazing. I have not been at it so very good the last few days, but I do, and it's good. You know, they say if you just got to keep moving, like, and it seems like, oh yeah, you just got to keep moving, but when your whole body is stiff and frequently painful, and you're worried about your balance, just staying active, not so easy. But this particular program is really good. How long have you had your channel? Does it bring you joy? How many hours a week do you put towards your channel? I want to say I have been 2 years? What? Year and a half, maybe? Yes, it does bring me joy. Yeah, absolutely. It brings me joy. Mostly it's you guys that bring me joy. How many hours a week? Whew. The only day that I'm not actively working on the channel in some way is usually Saturday. And every other day of the week, I'm for sure working on it in the morning, and then probably again for a while in the afternoon. So I probably do 5 or 6 hours a day at least, and then 5 days a week. It takes a whole lot more to get a YouTube channel moving than I thought. I can't think of a question, but I'd love to hear another one of your stories. Something funny or possibly something paranormal. If anyone I know played in the fields with fairies as a child, I could imagine it being you. Yeah, I kind of did. I never saw any fairies. Every summer we went to my grandparents, and then it turned out to be my parents. Anyway, we went to a lake in northern Wisconsin, and my brother and sister were very much older than me, and they were all gone from the house by the time I was 3, so I was an only, and we'd go up north, and it would just be me. I didn't have anybody to do anything with, so my aunt and uncle lived on the other side of the lake, and they had a trampoline. And it was in the sand, so it wasn't like you had to climb up onto it. You could just run down the sand and then jump on it. But I would pack up my little sack with every kind of little crackers, peanut butter and jelly, or pieces of fruit and cheese. And I don't even recall, and this is from I was probably 6 when I started doing this. And then I would walk over to the other side of the lake, which was a mile at least. But on the way, I would stop and lay out my little blanket and lay out the little treats, and the animals would come and enjoy treats with me. Paranormal wise, I used to work at Tinker Cottage. I started as a docent, and then they trained myself and my friend to clean antique furniture. So we also cleaned the house, and it was haunted. And I'm going to tell you, folks, I was not someone who believed in it's haunted, but it was haunted. I would go into a room, and the first thing I ever noticed was something moving across my path. Not like a person, just an energy that would move in front of me, and I could feel it go past me. And there was one day when I was at the bottom of the staircase, and I looked up, and there was a very filmy, it didn't look like a person, but it was like another energy that would come down the steps towards me. I never felt anything mean, or just that she was around, and she was I'm positive it was a she, and that she recognized that I was around. And then I would start putting things, specifically putting things down when I was finished cleaning. And then maybe 10, 15 minutes later, I'd go back in the room, and they were moved. And my friend and I were the only people in the house. There was no one else. And that happened over and over and over. It was a game. She was playing a game with me, where, and so then I started moving things across the room, and I'd come back, and she would have moved it across back to where she wanted it. I think it happened most frequently in the bedroom of the person who I think that it was. And it's sort of funny because the ghost chaser guys have been to Tinker, and there's energy or whatever. I'm like, oh, they just need to ask me. I could tell them that there's definitely was somebody in there. But my friend, who is hysterical and kind of loud, and I don't remember what she said, but apparently it was offensive because there was a duck, like, paperweight on a shelf, and that duck went flying across the room at her. She got out of the way. She didn't get hit. But, yeah. So, like I said, I still never felt anything like they were going to hurt me, but they were there. She, for sure, she was there. Two more. I would like to know how long you've had Dandelion, and do you like cats? We've had Dandelion since she was a puppy. And she will be 6 in July. So we have had her for 6 years. And I love cats. Love, love, love cats. Do you enjoy reading? If so, who is your favorite author? My favorite author is Sarah J. Maas. She has written many, many, many books, and they're mostly very heavy, thick tomes of a book. I am rereading some of her books right now. I love Laini Taylor, Karen Killig, One Dark Window, and Two Twisted Crowns. Best books I read all year. I still have book hangover from those books. I just can't find anything that is quite as good. So that's it, you guys. That's all the questions. Thank you for sending them out. If I missed one or if more come in, I will do this again at some point. So I hope you are well. I appreciate your curiosity, and I appreciate you being there for me. So be well, be safe, and I will try to have some moments of zen at the end of this video. So bye. Love you.